In real life, the scariest part of rest stops, gas stations, and convenience stores is usually the bathroom. But in horror movies, these mundane and unassuming locations become a staple for kicking off the plot or building the perfect tense and isolated playground for a killer. It's horror's way of taking a normal, everyday stop and reminding you that nowhere you feel safe is actually safe. These places are built for horror movies, so it kinda makes sense that they're also never staffed by normal people. Which leads us to the theme of this video, the types of weirdos you meet at horror movie gas stations and rest stops. These weirdos include the harbinger, the setup, the harmless creep, and the killer. Each of these characters play a crucial role within their respective tropes. So let's dive into the first one.
The harbinger.
Excuse me, can you help me? I seem to be lost.
Sure, if I can.
I'm looking for the Wamport Road.
Wamport Road? Hardly anyone uses that anymore.
Well, my friend gave me the directions. Take Road 28A, turn onto the Wamport Road, bear left at the fork through to Whitewood.
Whitewood?
Am I that far away?
No, ma'am, not far. Not many God-fearing folks visit Whitewood nowadays. If I were you, I'd...
If you'll excuse me, I'm in a hurry. Which way is it?
That poor guy you see getting the 1960s version of
I ain't got time for that shit
is what we refer to as a harbinger of doom. The harbinger is a person or thing that signals or foreshadows a terrible future event, disaster, or destruction. This character comes in many forms, like the wise old neighbor that knows all the lore behind a local legend, the eccentric psychic hired by the new owners of a haunted house, the creepy kid telling his parents his imaginary friends are real, and today's subject, the weird rest stop attendant that thinks the adventurous protagonist should stay on the main road. The rest stop harbinger is generally a benevolent character. They are aware of the danger ahead, they want to save the protagonist, and their establishment is usually the last stop before the trip turns bad. Now I know what you're thinking. Why would the protagonist still continue on their journey despite having someone giving them a clear warning? Well, there is one key trope rule that they all follow. Don't give clear warnings. Give direct, but somehow still very, very vague warnings. In The Children of the Corn, the protagonists are warned to skip the town of Gatlin because they don't have a phone and don't like strangers. Not because the town is controlled by killer children that worship a corn-based demon.
I mean, then look at this then. I can't imagine a more beautiful thing.
In Messiah of Evil, the paranoid and twitchy unnamed attendant warns,
Why do you want to go to Point Doom?
I'm visiting somebody there.
I can't understand why anybody would want to go to Point Doom visiting. I mean, it's just a piss poor little town. It's deader than hell.
to a normal person, sounds like there's just nothing to do there. But what he actually means is the town is full of flesh-eating zombies. This lack of transparency is essential to the plot and is supposed to lead the characters to ignore the warning and write the harbinger off as a crazy or paranoid hick.
What was that about trees?
Who knows? The guy was like really weird.
This character archetype has many diverse backstories and personalities as you go from film to film. Some may be cold and rude, others friendly and helpful, if not, maybe a little invasive of personal space and boundaries. Some are creepy, some are boring, but ultimately, they just want to help.
Could you tell me the way to Whitewood, please?
Another one. Straight ahead, fork in the road, you see a sign, Wamport Road, turn left, takes you right in.
But thanks.
Let me warn you, young fella, they don't like strangers in Whitewood.
Okay, fine. Thanks very much.
Now moving on to our second weirdo, the setup. Let's take a moment to circle back to The Hills Have Eyes. In 1974, we saw Old Fred was the harbinger, but in the 2006 remake, we have Jeb, a greasy, weird old man that is seemingly friendly and helpful with directions. But unlike Old Fred, Jeb doesn't care about the law.
Don't you know it's illegal to smoke around a gas pump?
and he has a pact with the cannibal people that inhabit the hills and helps them eat in exchange for the travelers' valuables. This character may appear to be a traditional harbinger, but the main difference is that these characters are malevolent in nature, and their main purpose is actually to lure the protagonists to their death. They do this through things like helpful directions to a shortcut.
There's no need to take the main roads. I know a shortcut.
Or a recommendation of a nearby house where they can wait out car trouble or bad weather. Sometimes part of their job is to make sure the protagonist doesn't escape the area. Their vague and ominous warnings are usually more threatening than helpful.
Oh, that's not a letter, that's a threat.
This character archetype is presented in two ways, with the most common in older films usually being the seemingly normal and helpful attendant. The nicer versions of these characters are usually found in films where it's going to later be revealed that they are a part of the plot. Their friendly demeanor is meant to disarm the viewer and the protagonist, so they have no real reason to doubt or question their suggestions.
I'm a slithery little sneaky snake. I'm so slithery and sneaky because I'm a snake.
It also keeps the character in the area, as we see often. When protagonists do manage to escape, the first place they go back to is the gas station to ask the normal attendant for help. Famous examples include Drayton Sawyer in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Luda May in the 2011 remake. The second way the setup is presented is as creepy, greasy, with an obvious lack of social skills. We see this more in movies starting in the early 2000s and forward. Think Bo Sinclair in House of Wax, Maynard in Wrong Turn, and Captain Spaulding in House of 1000 Corpses. These characters generally do not come off as trustworthy. The viewers know something is wrong, the protagonists know something is wrong, but as always, the protagonists are led to just assume the lack of manners is due to them being hicks.
Fat, bearded, Budweiser drunk, asshole naked redneck, armed only with a pair of night vision goggles, camouflage Crocs, and a fucking spatula.
Occasionally, these characters do act as a hybrid, both a harbinger and a setup, such as Mordecai from The Cabin in the Woods, a character whose role is to act as both a warning and a lure for a secret government ritual sacrifice. Now I got some directions that'll help you get to our number 3 weirdo, the harmless creep. Like the setup, this character is usually creepy and lacks social awareness, sending red flags to both the audience and the protagonist that something isn't right. They never issue any verbal warnings or threats. Their presence is unsettling. But in the end, it turns out they are completely harmless. We all know that popular urban legend, the one where a woman stops at a gas station and the creepy attendant spends some time trying to stop her from getting in her car. The woman ignores him, quickly hops into her car, only to realize that he has been trying to warn her that there's a man hiding in her back seat. This story can even be found in horror movies. 2 examples, both with different outcomes, being 1987's Nightmares anthology segment Terror in Topanga and 1998's Urban Legend. In Terror in Topanga, the protagonist escapes with her life after the creepy and aggressive attendant forcefully pulls her out of her car. But unfortunately, the woman in Urban Legend does not meet the same fate, as she maces the creepy attendant, played by Brad Dourif, by the way, and drives off. The harmless creep is found in many movies. This character doesn't have much diversity through these films. They're usually indifferent, rude, or just plain weird. And unlike my last 2 examples, most of them have no real stake in the plot. They're simply there to creep us out before the real horror begins.
What are you going to?
I'm evil.
Whoa!
I'll make everybody witches and bats and vampires. No, I'm just kidding. I won't do it.
Okay, good.
No. I'm just joking. I'll never do that.
Before you feel too safe, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our number 4 weirdo, the killer. While the setup may occasionally partake in a murder here and there with the main antagonist, this character is the main antagonist.
I quit killing for them started killing for me. Exactly.
These characters can be nice and appear normal, or they can be creepy and cold. In some movies, they are the proprietors of the rest stop where they are committing the murders. We can find great examples of this in movies like Body Bags, in the segment called The Gas Station, where a man named Bill warns his employee that there is a dangerous escaped mental patient out, only for her to realize that Bob is the killer and her real boss is actually dead. Simon Says, which is a Scooby-Doo style, like seriously Scooby-Doo style, film that follows Crispin Glover, who plays serial killer twins that work at a gas station. And also in the 2011 film Exit 33, we see horror legend Kane Hodder play Ike, a gas station owner possessed by a ghost that sells jerky made of human flesh. In other gas station killer films, they can be an outside killer stalking a final girl that is an employee or patron of that gas station or rest stop. In Night of the Hunted, a woman stops at a gas station for a coffee, only to realize that the clerk is dead and there is a sniper watching the store. She then has to spend the night hiding behind counters and displays as she tries to figure out how to escape. The modern gas station is the perfect setting for plots like this. They portray the vibe of being both isolated and exposed at the same time. The killer can see every move she makes, but she is unable to see him, and there is no help for miles. This one isn't exactly loved, but the atmosphere building is a 10 out of 10. Okay. I have a confession to make. I know I said there are 4 weirdos you meet at a horror movie gas station, but there's actually a 5th one. This archetype didn't quite fit in with the other tropes, but I feel like they deserve some recognition. So let me introduce my 5th gas station weirdo, the employee that doesn't get paid enough for this shit. This character can fit into many categories. They can be the random employee that just doesn't give a fuck, or an entrepreneurial spirit.
Well, we need some gas.
Well, from the Eagle attack, we are short on gas, but it's $100 a gallon if you want.
What, $100? That's outrageous.
Well, either you take it or leave it, and I have only a few gallons left from it.
It's rip off. Fine.
Thank you.
I got packs in my rap from the block to the back when my batch moving mad.
More commonly, however, they are an employee who's having the type of day that they probably don't deserve. My favorite examples include this guy in The Birds getting knocked unconscious by a seagull and then accidentally blown up. The poor clerk that gets shot and set on fire in the beginning of From Dusk Till Dawn. And the poor gas station employee in Splinter who just wanted to see some bikinis. While these characters are usually side characters, sometimes we find that our main protagonists are the unlucky employees. Yoga Hosers is a horror comedy where young and uninterested convenience store employees, played by Lily Rose Depp and Harley Quinn Smith, have to deal with many dangers through their shift, including hot killer boys and small Hitler clones made out of sausages called Bratzies. In Unseen, we see a depressed gas station clerk named Sam receive a video call from an unknown number. She answers it only to become roped into helping a blind stranger escape her murderous ex-boyfriend. Some of these characters live, some of these characters die, but we know one thing is for certain, they definitely do not get paid enough for this shit.
Fuck your job. Do only what you are paid to do. You are not slave. You are not office bitch. Hard work is bad for you.
So, these are the weirdos you meet at horror movie gas stations and rest stops. Let me know any character types I may have missed in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to my channel. There's a lot more coming. And be sure to check out my companion to this video, the top 5 gas station and rest stop horror movies, where I go a little more in depth about a few of these movies mentioned in this video. Like and subscribe.